Hello Aquarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the Princess of Cups as our first card. This is one of my favorite cards. This is the fish in the percolator, my Twin Peaks reference, my one and only Twin Peaks reference. This is really our appreciation for the uncanny, our appreciation for the absurd. This is our perception and awareness of novelty in our lives. Yeah, this is the idea that we can perceive signs and symbols and synchronicities. And that we know that these kinds of anomalies, glitches in the matrix, whatever you want to call them, the fish in the percolator, we don't question how they got there in like a logical, causal kind of way. We just almost think, wow, that's absurd. What's the meaning of it? What's the message there? We don't try to ask the universe, well, how did it get there? How did it get from the lake to the land to my coffee maker? We don't need to think of it that way, because that's the wrong kind of question to ask. We should ask, what are you trying to tell me? What am I supposed to do with you? So I feel like this card is really talking about you finding the pathway forward for your dreams, finding a way to manifest your dreams. Okay. Let's put this into some context. I feel like Spirit really does have a very serious message for you. I feel like you've been experiencing a lot more of these kinds of synchronicities, novelties, whatever you want to call them. We're battling against our Six of Swords, though. Right? That's kind of that's the card that crosses you today, or this week, or I think probably this has been going on for a couple weeks. Either side of today, it seems to be in a focus here. So the Six of Swords is our question. This is us trying to figure out why these things how are these things possible, right? We're trying to be a little bit rational and logical. We're trying to think causally. Well, that happened, and then that happened, and then that made that happen, and suddenly now there's a fish in the percolator, or there's a fly in my soup. Right, or there's a turtle in my seashell. But again, those are the wrong kinds of questions. So I feel like you're a very logical person usually. You've been quite like left-brained, right, if you will, thinking very logically, very scientifically about things, figuring things out. Maybe that's part of the work you do, right? Maybe you're in a very kind of a very serious profession where you have to think logically. Maybe you're some kind of something with computers or technology or something where things have to kind of be causal, right? And so now there's all these kind of weird, subtle, right-brained things happening to you when you were trying to reconcile, right? Trying to figure out a way to kind of to satisfy both halves of your brain, if you will. I know the brain doesn't quite work that way, but I'm no neuroscientist or whatever they are. Mad respect for the neurologists and neuroscientists, though. I think the brain and the mind is like the final frontier, at least, on the internal landscape. We've got a Princess of Wands here, so we got two princesses there. Very interesting. Fire and water, yeah. And we've got a Four of Swords, yeah. We got the Tower, interesting. And we've got the Luster Strength card. This is serious now, because I feel like there is something that is being told to you by Spirit, something that is coming through these subtle ways, subtle means. It's almost supernatural. It almost defies explanation. And I think it really is almost, in some ways, shattering your worldview. It's almost like, well, I'll tell you what it's almost like. Let's do the rest of our cards. So water, fire, a little bit of earth, and more fire. So we've got quite a bit of fire and water here today. So to me, yeah, these two kind of opposing energies or methodologies. But I kind of feel as if it's like somebody who's a skeptic, somebody who does not believe in ghosts. You do not believe in spiritual or religious things or any kind of supernatural happenings in any way, right? And then you see a ghost. And then it just blows your mind, right? It gives us that kind of tower moment where it just feels like everything you thought you knew about reality flipped upside down. Yeah. Kind of a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kind of feeling here. Where everything is on its head now. You thought you kind of understood the world. I really feel like you have a lot of like scientific knowledge or learning or like some sort of kind of very like almost formal education or something like that. Or maybe you were just brought up to really, you kind of believed in practical things, you know? You trusted in what the senses perceive and what the mind can kind of sort out, you know? But then something like that, like the fish in the percolator, something completely, it's like the fish is in the percolator, okay, fine, that's weird, but I can maybe explain it somehow. Then the fish starts talking to you. Okay, now we are mind blown. Yeah. Now we're upset. Now our whole world is disrupted. Okay. And so I feel that whatever's going on with you now, I don't know if it's that extreme or that severe, but I feel like Spirit is showing you almost like what you've been missing, right? It's kind of like you're not going to completely upend your life, but I feel like Spirit is kind of showing you that, hey, there's this whole other aspect of the universe, another aspect of reality that you're missing out on. And this really could be the time for you to step into your creative power. This is your magic here with this luster strength card. Right? This is really you taking the left and the right brain and combining them together. You know what they used to say like back in the 80s or 90s, right? Where I'm from. That we only use like 10 or 20% of our brains. And then I remember with my friends, I'd be like, could you imagine if we used 100% of our brains? Like we'd be deities, we'd be gods, goddesses, right? We would have it's unfathomable how powerful we would be if we could use all of our brains. I don't know if that's true. I think we probably use a lot more of our brains than that at different times, but I don't know. But it's that idea that if we're just complacent with the mental energy that we have, then we're missing out on this whole other side of ourselves. And maybe this is the idea of kind of logic and order and rationalism versus like the creativity and the embracing of magic and mysticism and spirit and kind of blending these two, science and religion, right? Blending the two together in order to achieve what we could look at as a more kind of unified experience of life. Yeah. So I'm getting this image of someone who goes to work every day in like a very professional outfit, and then they have this spiritual experience. They see a ghost, or they have some sort of mystical revelation or a vision, right? And then the next day they quit their job and they've grown their hair long. They're wearing tie-dye, right? They're using different language. They've thrown out their clocks and stuff like that. And, to me, it's just like do a complete 180 of your life. I don't know if that's really what Spirit's telling you. Not to do a complete 180, but to learn to live more integrated, more holistically. Yeah. In order to activate your power and activate your kind of true will and your magic and your kind of broader experience of life. Yeah. Mystery card. Let's not forget the mystery card. This is one random card. You know what? That one kind of flew out a little bit, so maybe we'll just use that one. I think that, That might have been a sign there. We'll use that one. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. Bob Ross will keep an eye on it. And at the end of the reading, excuse me, that card will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. Okay. If at any point during the tarot reading you feel like you know what that card is, put your prediction down in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise. Yeah. All right, let's take a look now. We have major and major. We're kind of blowing the doors off of our creativity with this, blowing the doors off of our consciousness, right? This is real. This is breakthrough. This is a perception of the truth, a speaking of this is real revelation in your life. And it's unlocking a secret power within you. And it's all by you kind of following the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities. It's you see a ghost, right? Don't start trying to find logical explanations for why there's a ghost there. Just talk to it, right? Find out, go ask different questions. Go down a different train of thought than what you instinctively feel like doing. Well, I'm going to get my equipment out. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find a logical reason. I'm going to try to debunk it. We all know we can debunk everything. Everything can be debunked, right? That's not the point. I think the point is, what is the message? Why are you having this experience now? Yeah, maybe it's just that the radiator is haywire and so the room got cold. I don't know. Maybe it's just there's some static from the TV or whatever, and I don't know. Of course there's a logical explanation. If you're trying to find one, you can. That's not the point, though. Let's go a different path. I don't care what the logical explanation is. I want to know what the, say, spiritual or creative explanation is. And they can both be true. So it's not that you have to pick one or the other. You can say, yeah, this was a completely logical, rational, causal event that happened. At the same time, this is a magical, mystical, spiritual event, right? That is a direct message from God, goddess, deity, guardian angels, spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, ancestors. Universal mind, universal energy. Both can be true, right? Both can be true. So I feel like this is a bit of an awakening happening in your life right now. Okay, and yes, maybe you've always been a very spiritual person. I don't know. I'm not getting that feeling that you always have been, or not consciously. Yeah, that maybe we do believe. And maybe we do acknowledge spirit, higher power. But acknowledging and believing, that's still here in these swords cards. What we're looking for with the fire and the water here is direct experience. This is the idea that, yeah, I can believe in spirit, higher power, God, goddess, deity, guardian angel. I can believe that we are all one energy and that we are all kind of one consciousness that's been differentiated into different packets of experience. But that's still a logical thing. It's still me thinking about it in that logical way. Having the experience of it, being witness to these things, that's different, right? I think we can agree on that. But the problem here is that we don't want to completely disrupt our life. Sometimes we have a spiritual experience, and let's say the Tower card represents some form of awakening, full chakra activation, kundalini experience, any kind of a nirvana or a state of samadhi that you might enter, any kind of mystical, magical, supernatural experience. There's a tendency to let it really disrupt our lives. Now, this is the Princess of Wands. This is someone that has one of those magical, mystical experiences, and it literally blows the top off their head. And their life is completely changed. They can't even function afterwards. They're just struck dumb by this experience. Okay? And it does happen, and that can happen. A lot of the time it does. It leaves you in a stupor for a while, right? But we have to be careful with this. And this is why I say it's all about integration, not about just flipping the script and doing a 180. Yeah. It's about living the whole, it's about incorporating this into our lives as maybe a large part of your life. Maybe it's the central focus of your life now. But it's not impulsive. We're not just taking this experience and just kind of running away and just, doing something completely impulsive and irrational. This is a very irrational card. This card is all impulse and behavior. Impulse and behavior, impulse and behavior. There's nothing in between there. There's no checks and balances with this card, with those impulses and behaviors, right? Very impulsive. And that, I think, could change the nature of this Tower card itself. Because if we allow ourselves to be impulsive with it, then this Tower card really is kind of the tearing down of your life. This is really turning your life on its head, right? And then we just kind of become one of those people that just preach, right? Because now the mouth is over the eye, is above the eye. So now we're up here claiming to know the truth, and we're out here preaching and proselytizing and trying to convert everybody to what we have witnessed and what we believe is the truth. But the truth gets lost underneath, right? That eye. So we don't want to do that. We want to keep it right side up. We want to have the perception, the revelation, the witnessing of truth or reality as the top kind of energy. And then what we say and do is kind of under the umbrella of that, rather than the other way around, right? So there's a little bit of humility, I think, here. There's this idea that what I witness, what I experience, my perception of truth is not going to be the same as yours. So I'm going to keep my mouth down below that kind of experience up here and know that your experience, what you witness, is going to mean way more to you than what I told you I witnessed. Does that make sense? Let that sink in. That's important here. Okay. But all of this, I think, is to say that through the incorporation of this experience, you really are activating this magical power in you. Now, the Luster Strength card is your ability to reach up into the sky and pull your star down. To really have this direct connection with God, goddess, deity, that's always there. It's like internet that's always on. Anytime you need it, it's there. Anytime you reach out, that energy is there for you. And so this unlocks tremendous creativity. And it unlocks the door to more and more of these kinds of spiritual experiences, religious experiences, mystical, magical, supernatural things, however it manifests to you. And this is your ability to not only tap into that at any moment, but to control your appetite for it. I don't know if you heard my stomach growling. I'm getting kind of hungry. But to control also your reaction to it. To control your impulses, right? Control your appetite to just kind of get addicted to those experiences, quit our jobs, stop talking to our families, stop taking care of ourselves because we just want to have those experiences over and over and over again. It's kind of an obsession that can happen, right? So the Lust or Strength card is the strength for us to maintain control over that, always kind of stay in charge of yourself, right? Don't let any of these experiences rule your life. Right? They can be the central focus of your life, sure, but you've got to always maintain, control over what you do and make sure that you still take care of your responsibilities, essentially, right? But let's go to the path of the serpent, and as we do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. And it helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. We're almost at 200K. I can't believe it. And it's all because of you. And I really do love you, and I really do thank you. Okay. So we've got some court cards over here. We've got a lot of court cards here today. I feel like you do have a group of people with you. I don't know if these are, it's a group of spirit guides, or if these are maybe, this is maybe you finding your people, right? Or this really could be, in some ways, I wonder if we are activating this kind of subtle, spiritual, mystical, magical water energy. And it's making you feel different than everybody else. right? We feel like we kind of stand out, we stick out, we don't really fit in anymore, right? It's kind of the sense that I'm getting, that we feel, and it's, to me, it's like we kind of wake up when you have these attainments of new conscious states. And then you go out into the world, you kind of think everybody else is asleep, but you're awake, right? I wonder if you've been having lucid dreams lately. Have your dreams been like just extraordinarily vivid to the point where you feel lucid? It kind of feels like that to me, like you're in your dream, you're awake. Everybody else is dreaming, but you're awake. Yeah. And so it kind of feels like we've got a secret. Kind of feels like I know something that other people don't know. So I wonder if these court cards are also saying that you've got a network. You've got to seek out your people, right? You've got to find people that you can talk to about these experiences. Find people that they don't have to believe the same things you believe. They don't have to have the same experience. You know, you don't all have to agree. It's not dogma here, right? But find people that have had similar experiences, even though y'all are going to describe them differently, right? Your truth is different than my truth and someone else's truth. But you've all been witness to something, you know. I don't want to get into ufology or anything, but it kind of feels like that a little bit. Now, I don't know if you've ever witnessed anything like that. I don't know if that's what this is, or if what this is going to be. This feels more on the kind of supernatural, mystical, spiritual side of things, but the line between ufology and spirituality is getting very blurred lately, right? So it could really be manifesting as either one or a combination of all of that for you, okay? The Prince of Cups, you will be meeting somebody who is about the same age as you, I think a male energy, who's going to really understand what you've been through, what you're going through, and is going to be able to be simpatico, you know, to empathize with you. And you may use different words. You might have to learn a new language together, right, about how to talk about these kinds of things. Yeah. Or you could be finding a group of people that feel like these are your people, and you've got to learn the language so that you can express yourself and kind of become part of that group. Okay? Whether it's like Reddit or, I don't know, YouTube here, or some kind of a meetup group, or, you know, I don't know what, a library thing. I don't know. But the idea is to find your people, right? So that you don't feel alone in the kind of crowded street. You know, that you feel like you've got your tribe. Okay. And I feel like you are meeting that contemporary person, again, someone about your age. I'm getting a P name. Peter, Paul, I don't know, Perry. So that might be significant. I don't know if you know this person already, or if it's somebody that you will be meeting. I feel like you're meeting them, you know, fresh, but it might be somebody you already know. But you may not have known that they share this kind of experience with you. You never knew that you had this in common with them. So either way, you're meeting somebody for the first time, even if you've already known them, right? Now, the Two of Wands in the environment. It is difficult to have both this kind of left brain objective and agenda in your life, and then this right brain agenda in your life, because I feel like you want to go just kind of creative, almost bohemian, but you're very professional, you're very structured and ordered. I don't know. I feel like you've been through college. Yeah, you did something kind of. You didn't do liberal arts. You did something kind of scientific, math, finance, some kind of science in college. It wasn't like art or literature or anything, right? Even literature, I think, would kind of be a little bit more on that other side there. It wasn't like an art school or anything, I don't think. So the Two of Wands really is the difficulty combining the kind of the two mindsets. right? It's about incorporating what feels like two different objectives and two different wills, two different you know? And we can't have that. We can't have this kind of fractured willpower. So I think the work really is going to involve, especially as we get further up here, is to just try to incorporate this energy and learn how it is all part of one path. It's not two different paths that you have to kind of, well, you do this Monday through Friday and you do this on the weekends. No, let's find a way to bring it together. Your life is one. Your will is one. Your spirit is one. Okay? And so there's going to be some difficulty. And I think once you start waking up and having these kinds of spiritual experiences, it does kind of feel like you're at odds with the world. There's going to be a little bit of friction, you know? Because the world kind of wants you to go back to sleep. Right? That's why these kinds of breakthroughs in consciousness and spiritual experiences are so valuable, because they're difficult to attain in our day and age. Maybe centuries ago it was easier. There wasn't so much around. You didn't have so much direct contact with the egregore, with the with society, with just the energy of the world, right? Life was, I don't know, I've never been there. It seems like life was a little bit slower at times, or it could be. So I think when we start to have these experiences, it's a challenge to not just think, it'll just be easier if I just go back to my old life. Trying to continue to wake up more, and then sustain that awakening is very difficult. It's much easier to just go back to sleep, right? It's much easier. The difficulty here is I think the Princess of Pentacles. This is in the kind of the position of the difficulty. It seems like life is now, it seems like you're entering the wilderness with this card. It feels like your life isn't as structured and as ordered and as predictable and as scientific as it was, that now life is like a jungle. Life is this kind of wild wilderness that you've got to try to find your own order in. You've got to clear away a little bit of the brush and make a campfire, and you're on this path now. You're on this journey in the wilderness. And the Four of Wands is you slowly and surely kind of making progress and making sense of it. Four of Wands is that campfire. It's a temporary campfire. It's temporary manifestation, temporary knowledge. It's one experience that has a meaning now. That meaning is going to change. Eventually that fire is going to go out. You're going to have to put the stones back. You're going to have to get on the horse, and you're going to have to keep riding to the next one. So this is kind of the idea that even our own structure of reality, our own worldview, is temporary. And if we look at it this way, then it's kind of like almost every moment is another breakthrough, right? Because there's nothing that's set in stone. This isn't a permanent campfire. It's a temporary one. You can stay here for a couple days, and then we can move on, right? You're a traveler now. I wonder if the mystery card's going to be the Fool. I wonder. Let's take a look. Let's see what Tiny Bob Ross has for me. I'm thinking Fool energy. That's what came to mind, and that's what I'm going to stick with. If you have an idea, put it down in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, that's an Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, hard work. Hard work. But also patience, right? This is very thoughtful, very meticulous, very methodical. This is not. This is impulsive, right? So we do want to reconstruct our world in a very slow and deliberate way. As you build your life, as you kind of forge together this new path, do it slowly and carefully, and know that nothing is rigid and permanent. See, we had a Four of Swords back here. This was the idea that what we believe is set in stone. The facts of life are facts, and you cannot change facts, right? So this is very fixed. And then we have that Four of Wands, which says things are fixed for now, but things are also temporary. So we never fully cling to a belief or an opinion or an experience or a revelation or anything without also the knowledge that, yes, I believe in this 1,000%, but it's like this is life that there's always a but now, you know? Yes, I accept this, I believe in this, I agree with this, but that could change. I might not believe in it or accept it or really feel it in a minute or a second even. The idea that everything is movable. Everything is kind of volatile, right? But nevertheless, we've got to continue building. We've got to keep making that building. We have to keep building up new towers, knowing that it's like Jenga, right? I don't know how high it's going to get, or whatever that game is. I don't know how high it's going to get before it crumbles. But that's the work. You just keep building it, right? You build the world so that you can have this breakthrough experience. You build the tower so that we can break free from the tower. We build the temple so that we can destroy the temple and rebuild the temple, right? So it's always this kind of, it's almost this constant learning, constant progress, constant like advancing. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean for this to get so kind of hocus pocus, but there it is. We're going to do an extended reading though too. If you want to stick around, click on the link up here, or there's one down in the video description. New readings for Aquarius every Thursday and Sunday. I'm here every day. Just come on back, see me again tomorrow. Okay. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.